The global market is dominated by giants, Google, Amazon, Microsoft. Their market capitalization? About $1 trillion. Now imagine if you had that kind of money. An endless banquet of luxury awaits. Prime rib, gleaming sushi, vintage 2008 champagne, this is just the beginning. With $1 trillion, the world becomes your personal playground. You walk through the lobby of a luxury hotel, flanked by private butlers, while poolside parties become your daily routine. This is what $1 trillion means. And this is the game they're about to play. All the luxuries in this world, luxury cars, designer watches, tailored suits, ocean view villas, and glamorous women at your side, will be within your grasp all the time. As champagne rains down and bills scatter in the air, Haru proclaims his ambition with blazing conviction. Two young men were talking, Haru and Gaku. Back to this channel. In this video, we will discuss a manga entitled Trillion Game. The author of this manga is Inagaki Riichiro. He is also the author of the anime Dr. Stone and Eyeshield 21. This manga was released in 2020 and is still ongoing until now. A brief synopsis of this manga is two friends Haru and Gaku plot to gain enough money to have anything they desire at any time, $1 trillion. This manga is in the genre of psychological, comedy, philosophical, drama and slice of life. If you are curious about this manga, watch this video until the end. Don't forget to subscribe. Ever since high school, Gaku has always dreamed of a quiet, peaceful life. Not overflowing wealth, not flashy parties or supercars, but a small house by the sea. A place where he could wake up to the sound of waves and play fetch with a small, loyal dog. He imagined getting into a decent company someday. He was never sure how, but that was okay. If possible, he'd love to share that life with a girl he truly loved. Nothing extravagant, just enough. Just the two of us, in our tiny bubble of happiness. Gaku believes it's fine to be a little poor. As long as there's peace, love, and a bit of joy, that's more than enough for him. Gaku gazes out the window, taking in the glittering skyline and the artificial ocean view below. From the heights of a towering building, Odaiba stretches out before him. And yet, it all feels strangely hollow. A colleague's voice snaps him back. What kind of facial expression is that, Mr. Gaku? He forces a smile. Yeah. I got a view of the entirety of Odaiba. But inside, confusion brews. How the heck did it come to this? He used to dream of a simple seaside home, peaceful, quiet, real. Now, though he's technically by the sea, everything is too polished, too corporate, too far removed from that dream. His dream came true, yes, but in a shape he never asked for. Gaku gazes up at the towering skyscraper, his new home. Vast, elegant, overwhelming. A home this large and refined. I couldn't have expected this in the slightest. Inside, chandeliers glitter from cathedral-high ceilings. Marble floors stretch beneath silent footsteps of private staff. It's less a home, more a palace. News outlets beam his name, Mr. Gaku, alongside his high school friend Mr. Haru, has entered the list of Japan's top 10 richest, even breaking into global ranks. The media calls them a miracle of the 21st century, two nobodies who defied all odds. Yet behind Gaku's gentle smile, something lingers. He knows this path wasn't ordinary. And not all prices were paid in cash. He first met him during the final spring of his middle school years. That night, the city sparkled as always, vivid, loud, and completely indifferent. But beneath the glow of neon signs and the shadows of narrow alleys, a boy named Gaku was running, his breath ragged, his heart pounding like a war drum. His eyes widened in shock. Two grown men lay sprawled on the ground, their bodies bruised and blooded. Their gasps were weak, broken, fading. And in the center of that chaos stood someone with a confident grin and an unshakable gaze. This is Haru. The man who would shake the world. The one who would drag Gaku into a game of trillions, deceit, and dominance. On that dark night, their fates became entwined. not by destiny, but because Haru chose it to be so. From that moment on, Gaku's life was never the same again. And as the thugs ran off in fear, he laughed. Laughed like the whole thing had been a game to him. "I completely fucked them up," he shouted, completely unbothered, absolutely fearless. Gaku was still on the ground, shaken, breathless, and in awe. Why did you save me?" he asked quietly. That kind of thing hadn't been decided yet. He turned, half smirking, almost amused. "You're from the class next to mine, right? Gaku." He even knew about the security cameras being blocked by a delivery truck. Who was this guy? He wasn't just some hero out of nowhere. He was Haru, someone who always knew exactly what he was doing. He wasn't reckless. Every move was calculated. "It was a blind spot," he said calmly. "The camera's blind spot. No matter how brutally he beat them, as long as he stood exactly where the camera couldn't see, he'd never be held responsible. It wasn't luck. It was strategy." And from the way he smiled while explaining it, Gaku knew one thing for sure: Haru was no ordinary guy. He's a man of extreme calculation. Every move he makes is deliberate, precise. There are no limits to the bad things he's willing to do. If it has to be done, he'll do it, no hesitation. No matter how you look at it, this guy is trouble. But what really stunned me, the thing that bothered Haru that night, wasn't the broken jaws or the blood on the pavement. It was the fact that the truck moved. "That old man just had to move the truck," he muttered. "That wasn't how it was supposed to go." And Gaku could only think to himself, that's what he regrets. After the chaos, things slowly settled. Haru stood calmly, looking at Gaku as if nothing serious had happened at all. Meanwhile, Gaku was visibly shaken, nervous, unsure of what to do. He hesitated, thinking of how to quickly distance himself from this unpredictable person. But deep down, he knew meeting Haru wasn't just some passing coincidence. He turned to leave, but his mind lingered. And as he glanced back one last time, that was the moment everything began. Gaku walked briskly, clutching his books tightly, hoping to put the earlier chaos behind him. He felt a wave of relief. After all, he was just the victim. If he distanced himself now, he'd stay safe. Meanwhile, Haru leaned back, calm as ever, even though the consequences were serious. He had just been accepted into a prestigious school but now risked being expelled before even stepping foot in it. Gaku opened his laptop with urgency, scanning for information with a focused look. But moments later, panic overtook him, realizing what Haru stood to lose. And yet Haru just laughed it off, like none of it really mattered. In the stillness of a narrow alley, Gaku sat cross-legged with his laptop on his knees. It was his prized possession, bought with New Year's money he had saved for a decade. While Haru watched with casual amusement, Gaku was visibly conflicted. This moment was the culmination of his years of self-taught computer skills. But he also knew that crossing this line could make him a criminal. Still, curiosity and urgency pushed him forward. He began typing rapidly, attempting to tap into the wireless network of an old parking structure nearby. Haru, ever amused, likened Gaku's skills to those of elite hackers from the movies. The parking lot fight was still fresh in memory, once captured by security footage. But off to the side, Gaku worked feverishly on his laptop, sweat tracing down his brow. He was gambling everything. At last, the screen displayed the result he hoped for. The surveillance video was deleted. The only evidence that could get them in trouble was now gone. Haru approached, confirming that the security system would no longer reveal the scuffle. For now, they were in the clear. Haru was in awe of Gaku's ability to erase the security footage, showering him with praise and joking about hacking into a bank to get rich. But Gaku knew better. What they had done was already skirting the edge of danger. Yet for the first time, Gaku felt recognized. Haru's words, that companies everywhere would want someone like him, echoed in his mind. Sought after, me, of all people. The idea felt foreign, but strangely comforting. Time passed, and now Gaku had grown into a young man in a sharp suit, carrying a business bag. Amidst the hustle of the big city and the steady flow of people, he walked with purpose down the sidewalk toward a towering skyscraper. Above, in the bright summer sky, the buzzing of cicadas echoed as if announcing the next chapter of his journey into a new world. Though the summer went on, bitter rejections began piling up for Gaku. One after another, polite messages on his phone all delivered the same truth: you weren't selected. Meanwhile, Haru strolled across campus with his usual easy swagger. Rumors about job offers from megabanks and tech firms swirled around him. His classmates were impressed, showering him with questions. He handled them effortlessly. Even his new glasses became part of his cool, mysterious charm. Amid the lively campus crowd, Haru remained calm and untouchable. He casually turned down an invitation from a girl without a second thought. Nearby, Gaku stared at his phone, his inbox flooded with rejection emails. Haru laughed it off as if it were nothing. But to Gaku, it wasn't funny. He lacked confidence, stumbled over his words, and faced one failure after another. Still, despite everything, he hadn't given up. With quiet determination, he prepared to head to yet another interview. Despite countless rejections, Gaku still had one last shot, the final interview at the most prestigious institution, Dragon Bank, Japan's largest financial powerhouse. His friend tried to stay hopeful, wishing they could face the interview together, though visibly anxious. The sheer weight of the Dragon Bank name was enough to intimidate. To some, it felt less like a bank and more like a Yakuza front. But still, Gaku pressed on, because this could be his final chance. A stunning young woman makes her entrance, turning heads as she walks with confidence and grace. She's not just beautiful, she's Kirika, the daughter of Dragon Bank's president. At only 20 years old, she already holds a seat on the company's board of directors. While many whisper about nepotism and favoritism, there's no denying her striking presence. Behind her back, people call her Princess Kiri, a title that reflects both admiration and the aura of privilege that surrounds her. At Dragon Bank's final interview session, candidates struggle to present their best selves. One student passionately recounts his role as a school club leader, likening himself to the lubricant that kept things running. Inside the panel, the mood is cold and clinical. The interviews, including Kirika, the president's daughter, listen intently but judge sternly. One by one, they mark their evaluation sheets, 3 crosses from Kirika, a clear rejection. Yet amidst the harsh rejections, one circle is drawn, a glimmer of approval in a room full of scrutiny. A nervous figure bursts into the final interview room at Dragon Bank. His name tag reads Taira Monobu. He is Gaku. With trembling steps and sweat on his brow, he stumbles in, accidentally knocking over a chair. The panel sighs, unimpressed. Another hopeless one, someone mutters. Monobu bows deeply and forces out a greeting, voice unsteady. Inside, he's panicking, this isn't going well at all. But then, something shifts. A fire lights in his eyes. This is the last chance, he tells himself. With resolve building, he stands tall, determined to turn things around. Gaku begins his story with earnest passion, recalling his childhood shaped by computers and the tech magazines published by Dragon Bank. He speaks of how the company fueled his dreams, and how long he had hoped for this opportunity. But as he talks, his confidence falters. His voice begins to tremble. Sweat forms on his brow. Words catch in his throat, and the weight of the moment starts to crush him. He's slipping, again. The panel of interviews watches with unreadable expressions. And in his mind, the same dreadful feeling returns. It's happening again. The fear of failure begins to choke him. Gaku struggles to keep his composure. He opens up about his past, how for years he couldn't afford a proper computer. But instead of giving up, he absorbed knowledge from magazines, memorizing the libraries and coding examples printed within them. He learned how to deserialize cookies and execute arbitrary code, all from reading alone. Those magazines became his teacher, his world. As he speaks, a wave of nostalgia washes over him. He recalls how the recent news of a data breach at the company reminded him of those early days of reading, learning, and dreaming. One of the interviews scoffs quietly, doubting how someone like Gaku even made it to the final interview. But then Kirika speaks up, her words cutting through the air like a blade. Because the other candidates were too capable, right? She says sarcastically, implying that arrogance has blinded the panel to real potential. As she marks a large circle on the evaluation sheet, Kirika explains that a company like Dragon Bank, now a corporate giant, needs diversity. We need all kinds of people to help carry the burden, she says. While technical skills are vital, she emphasizes the equal importance of communication and empathy. Her unexpected stance creates a stir. One interviewer tries to dismiss her, reducing her to just the boss's spoiled daughter. But Kirika remains composed, her words carrying more weight than anyone had expected. With a bold and theatrical entrance, a new candidate leaps into the interview room, instantly seizing everyone's attention. The heavy tension that had filled the air moments earlier is shattered. The panelists, stern and stoic just seconds ago, burst out in laughter, caught off guard by the audacity of his move. Even Kirika, the ever-composed princess, shows a flicker of surprise. The newcomer beams with confidence, his presence commanding the room. He's clearly no ordinary applicant. His arrival brings a jolt of energy, dramatically shifting the mood from stiff formality to unexpected amusement. Haru begins speaking during the final interview session and immediately captivates the interviews. He shares his experience volunteering in a dangerous region, one notoriously unfriendly to Japanese volunteers. The interviews are impressed and even joke, "It's amazing you didn't get beaten up." He continues his story emotionally, admitting that he ended up crying afterward. The panel of interviews nod in agreement, noting that people from Haru's generation seem to have less patience, and they admire how today's youth can endure so much. Kirika watches him carefully. She notices that his storytelling is almost too perfect, there's just a small gap between truth and performance, but it's barely noticeable. She realizes that Haru has mastered the art of storytelling, presenting himself humbly while subtly highlighting his strengths. One interview asks, "You're not exaggerating, right? That really happened to you?" Haru confidently replies, "Of course. Why would I want to embarrass myself even more?" Kirika realizes that all of Haru's stories are lies. She sees how naturally he fabricates them, effortlessly slipping from one to another. Even if one lie is exposed, he has many more ready to cover it up. While the interviews laugh and remain charmed, Kirika watches silently, growing increasingly suspicious, especially when Haru boasts about his language abilities, which sound more and more questionable. Kirika gazes directly at Haru with a poised yet cryptic smile. Holding her pen delicately, she poses a provocative question, one that blurs the line between corporate loyalty and personal submission. Her eyes are piercing, unreadable, as if testing Haru's sincerity and willingness to sacrifice for the company. The interviews are stunned and confused by Kirika's unexpected foreign language remark. Haru calmly and confidently removes his glasses, responding fluently in 2 different languages, an action that shocks everyone in the room. His piercing gaze and composed demeanor show he fully grasps the hidden message behind Kirika's words, and accepts it without hesitation. The interviews are stunned and amused by Haru's seemingly fluent foreign speech, even though it's clear he's merely parroting words he doesn't fully understand. Haru looks satisfied with the reaction. From a distance, Kirika watches with a mysterious smile, almost as if acknowledging his boldness. Then, she marks a perfect circle on the evaluation sheet. Gaku sits quietly in his small room, staring at his phone screen where a rejection email from Dragon Bank has just arrived. Though his expression remains composed, his eyes reveal the sting of disappointment. He wonders briefly how Haru did, perhaps he got accepted, since companies usually only contact those who failed. Without a word, Gaku slowly gets up and prepares to leave for his part-time job, forcing himself forward even as the weight of rejection settles in. Gaku continues his part-time job in the construction field. Dressed in work overalls and a safety helmet, he diligently records notes and follows directions from his supervisor at the high-rise site. As he ascends in the window-cleaning gondola, through the glass, he catches glimpses of office workers inside, people absorbed in their own busy world. He sees a man focused on reviewing documents and a woman embracing a colleague, perhaps offering comfort or encouragement. But Gaku is merely an observer, separated by the cold, clear glass. It's a quiet reminder of the distance between himself and the professional life he once aspired to. He watches silently, then turns back to continue his work. Gaku stands high above the city, working as a window cleaner. Surrounded by towering buildings, he pauses, lost in thought. Memories flood back, late nights spent coding alone, driven by a dream of becoming a professional in the tech world. He looks down into a bustling office full of employees working together, a world he longs to be part of, yet feels shut out from. Visions of a hopeful past mix with the weight of rejection. His face tightens, eyes filling with tears. The contrast between his aspirations and his current reality becomes painfully clear. While continuing to clean the building's windows, Gaku glances inside. Through the glass, he spots Haru, the man who once sat beside him during the interview. Now, Haru stands tall, dressed sharply, smiling proudly among the new employees. Flashbacks flood Gaku's mind, Haru, confident and eloquent, captivating everyone in that interview room. Gaku can only watch from the outside, separated by the cold layer of glass. The world he once dreamed of now feels completely out of reach. While Gaku is diligently wiping the windows, he is suddenly startled by someone descending the building with flair. It's Haru, hair tied back, harnessed up, confidently rappelling down. Gaku's eyes widen in shock and confusion. He never expected to see Haru again like this. Behind his glasses, Gaku can only stare, frozen by the boldness and unexpected arrival of his former peer. Gaku stares at Haru in disbelief, confused by his sudden appearance as another window cleaner. Haru, meanwhile, remains calm, as if none of this matters. Inside the building, an entrance ceremony is taking place. New employees sit in neat rows, listening to a speech from the executives, a world that feels distant to Gaku. Outside the towering building, Haru sits on his harness, calmly explaining. He talks about two types of people in this world, those who survive through smooth talk and bluffs, and those who are truly skilled at what they do. Haru tells Gaku they belong to the latter group. With a confident smile, Haru speaks. He shares his grand and crazy vision: they'll enter that world, grow inside it, and then buy it out. He assures Gaku, with 100 trillion yen, anything is possible. Spraying paint onto the building wall, Haru marks his defiance and ambition. Gaku, standing below, looks up in awe at his old friend, now so sure of his path and future. From behind the office glass, the word "start" stands boldly, a sign that something new is about to begin. Haru continues spraying letters onto the building, outlining his mysterious vision. He talks about building a company, slowly acquiring stock, and eventually taking it over. Gaku listens in disbelief. A detailed roadmap? A company the two of them will create together? It all sounds like a fantasy. But somehow, because it's Haru saying it, a part of Gaku wants to believe. Gaku stares at the skyscraper's glass wall, now painted with the word "start," along with symbols of massive ambition, JPX, arrows, and the promise of a glittering future. He imagines grand houses, stunning women surrounding them, and their names on the list of the world's richest people. Silently, Gaku takes it all in. Haru's plan sounds crazy, but deep inside, he knows there's a chance Haru might actually pull it off. And so, he burns that outrageous roadmap into his memory, as if it were part of his fate. The first step of their grand ambition has been realized. At the top floor of Dragon Bank's towering headquarters, Haru gazes into the president's office. A place that once felt unreachable is now the site of their first triumph. Inside, a group of powerful executives watches as someone steps forward. Haru hangs high above the city, eyes fixed on the skyline with unwavering resolve. From inside a skyscraper, a woman gazes at him. She is Princess Kiri. A close-up of her face reveals sharp, observant eyes, judging, calculating. A confident smile spreads across Haru's face. His eyes are sharp, filled with defiance. He holds a spray can firmly in his hand. Meanwhile, Princess Kiri watches from behind the glass, fixated on the fearless man dangling outside the skyscraper. Haru gestures toward the sky, boldly laying out his vision. Behind him, the city stretches wide, Dragon Bank and everything towering in its grandeur before him. Kirika steps boldly into the executive office, followed by 3 high-ranking officials standing rigidly at the side. Spray-painted letters on the glass form a rebellious backdrop, marks left behind by someone who dared to defy the system. Behind the grand desk, the president sits silently, his back turned. The atmosphere is tense, as if the whole world is holding its breath. With a backdrop of endless stacks of dollar bills, Haru stands in the center, eyes filled with confidence. On one side, Gaku stares at him with a look of confusion and curiosity. On the other, Princess Kiri gazes forward, enigmatic and quietly powerful. The 3 of them now stand at the threshold of a massive game, an ambition with no limits, to conquer the world with the power of $1 trillion. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.